Greetings, people. I know y'all been waiting on the Oracle to speak. The Oracle is here. Now we can talk about it. Being as though no other media outlets have any credibility in this matter. A lot of people just repeating what they getting off Google search and posting old pictures. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get the notifications. I was trying to go live for some time now, but the MacBook was acting. It wasn't Mac. The MacBook wasn't Macing. WC, what up? Share this live stream to your social media platforms. Peace. Peace to everybody tuning in. 6/22 on a Sunday. It's Labor Day weekend. This is officially closing out the summer. Chuck now says, Chuck Ha, finally a notification. I've been shadow banned for some time now. Every now and then they give me some love, but you won't find Gully TV on the YouTube homepage or in the suggested videos, nothing like that. They've been trying to end my win streak for some time now. Daryl Javon, what up? Michael Ward, Walaikum Salam from Alaska. Wow. Muslims in the snow. Interesting. Muslims in the snow. He said they definitely don't put you in the suggestions anymore. Nah. It's been like that for some time. I don't question it. I just understand I ain't a regular case. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, with y'all support and y'all sharing my videos, we're going to continue to fight through the screens. I'm going to wait for more people to come in here. This is going to be a dandy. Y'all can't get this nowhere else. Everybody was messaging me with their sentiments and their condolences. I appreciate that. But, yeah, let's open the floor. I ain't gonna open the call-in line on this matter and shit. Don't nobody need to speak but me. He said they be having a boy that keep making videos about you. They gonna continue to feed y'all low vibration. My frequency is on a different level and shit, so it's probably better to suppress somebody like me. I understand that to be the truth. Yes, a lot of us come from the lower 48 to get this bag. Nashville, what up? Yeah, hip-hop usually go global along with the support. I hate to hear that he felt underappreciated. Oh, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, let's start the dialogue there. I'll share some things with y'all, some intimate details about this situation. And I also give you my opinion and shit. I feel my opinion matters in this pertaining to this topic. Dig, Iman, I don't smoke no more. You should flag these bogos that take clips from your video to dish you with. Nah, man. That's a part of my my welfare system. I have a welfare and Section 8 system for the underprivileged. These niggas ain't got no way of feeding themselves. You know what I'm saying? They can't feed themselves. You know they can't afford housing. So I let them do their thing. You know what I mean? But, yeah. Fat Man Scoop felt underappreciated by the hip-hop community. This is something that we discuss from time to time. Our relationship go back about 6 years. The first time I met Fat Man Scoop was at Cleveland State. I seen he posted, yeah, that was the first day I met him. He posted that he had an event at Cleveland State University. He was a speaker. And I hit him up on Instagram and I told him I was going to ride down and, you know, check out his this event that he was speaking at. So I texted him, I told him I was on my way. Probably like 35, 40 minutes into the trip, he texted me back. He was like, yo, fam, he said, this shit ain't popping at all, man. He said, don't waste your time. This shit ain't nothing. And I reiterated to him, I'm like, nah, I'm coming anyway. I'm on the road. I'm not coming for the event. I'm coming to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Meet you in person and shit. You know what I'm saying? In terms of setting up an interview or something like that. You know, I always try to, if there's some talent in close proximity to me, especially driving distance, I'm on it, no questions asked. I do that for y'all to make sure I continue to deliver y'all some dope content. I will get on the road, I will get on a plane, I will get on a train, I will get on a bicycle. Y'all know this. You know what I'm saying? But so I went down and I met him, and the picture that I posted on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, that's the first day I met him, right? When I met him, he already knew who I was. He was familiar with my work on Haitian Jack and shit like that. He was very interested in my gangster content. So we met in person. I shook his hand. Like, yo, we need to do something sometime. And he wasn't with it at the time. He wasn't with it. He just didn't feel that he was newsworthy or internet relevant. He didn't feel that he was doing anything. He didn't have a lot going on at the time. He was still getting some bookings sporadically overseas. Overseas is predominantly where he was still relevant at. But in the United States, it was slow motion. He did have a big following on Instagram. When I met him, he probably had like 79,000 followers or something like that. But he didn't have much going on and shit. You know what I'm saying? And when I met him, I was telling him how, pleased I was to meet him, and fortunate enough that, he allowed me to come meet him in person. He took me backstage at his event. We kicked it and shit like that. Dapped him up, took some pictures and shit, and he just was like, he was just almost like, man, I don't know why you want, pictures with me and shit. Like, I ain't Funk Master Flex and shit. Like, I'm not popping and shit. That's kind of like how he felt without saying it. So boom, I'm telling him, I'm like, man, are you kidding me? I'm like, man, you Fat Man Scoop, man, you bugging, man. Like, why wouldn't I want to, some Fat Man Scoop content and shit? And he was putting emphasis on he hasn't done anything relevant lately, or he wasn't in the now. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to get by, trying to pay his bills, still loving, hip hop and still having a legacy. So yeah, we exchanged numbers, and ultimately we gonna get it in later on. So boom, we met. After that, I sparked off the Murder Unit series, and we Instagram friends now. So he's paying direct attention to what I'm doing and shit. And I came upon the part in the Murder Unit story where I had to talk about the shootout at Hot 97. He let me know that he like, man, I was around that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I worked at Hot 97. I knew that he was a DJ, but I didn't know all of his history in terms of him being, one of the top legendary radio personalities in New York, with Wendy Williams, Mr. C, and all of these people. He named all the roster at Hot 97. I'm like, man, shit. I'm like, man, we gotta do something, man. Like, you decorated like a motherfucker again. He wanted to be around, he wanted to be in the relevant now. The current relevant shit. He wanted to be in the relevant now. So I'm like, yo, check this out. Why don't you I might be jumping the gun. I think after Cleveland State, I went to Dubai. That's what happened. I jumped the gun a little bit. I went to Dubai, and I went over there initially with this female. This female had some rhythm over there, and she was going over there to dance. And at the last minute, she said she wasn't going with that. Whoever was bringing her over, she wanted me to go over there and kind of like watch her back and shit like that while she went over there to get a bag and shit. And at the last minute, she said she wasn't going. Whoever was booking her, it fell through. I had already told my followers online that I was going to Dubai. So I'm like, man, bitch, I gotta go. Like, I didn't already told my followers and shit, I'm going to fucking Dubai and shit. This ain't no shit you announce and don't follow through with, especially not in my position. So I go by myself. Boom. I'm over there. And I ain't had nothing going on over there. I essentially it was gonna be a shopping trip and a vacation. Just go over to Dubai, ride some fucking camels, just do whatever. The trip was booked, the hotel was booked, everything shaking, you know. Boom. I was over there for about 6 days. My last day, Fat Man Scoop's over there. And he's always over there. He's always in Saudi Arabia, or he always over there overseas and shit. And he hit me up. He was like, yo, fam, he like, you still in Dubai? I said, yeah, I'm packing my shit, man. I leave in the morning and shit. He was like, man, I'm still, he like, I got a show here. No, I got a show here tonight and da-da-da-da-da. He like, where you at? I told him where I was at, the hotel, you know, resort or whatever I was staying. He was like, you staying over there? I'm like, yeah, man, hell yeah. I go first class when I do it and shit. He was like, well, shit, man, since you over here, you know, we should do something and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can come over to this hotel, casino, was whatever he was staying at. This shit was like A-list. The people who booked him over there was fucking sheiks and shit, like oil barons and shit. Like, these people was filthy fucking rich. And they don't have taxi cabs over there or nothing like that. They don't got Uber or nothing like that. They got car services and they Mercedes Benzes and shit, like Maybachs and 550s and shit like that. He like, yo, I'm gonna send the car service over to your hotel with the promoter, the dude that's promoting the show. They gonna come over there and get you with, you know, with the car service and shit. Just be ready at such and such time. I was ready. They came and picked me up. Immediately, I'm seeing that they're treating me like a really, really big deal and shit. Like, they was treating me like a really, really fucking big deal. From the time I came downstairs into the lobby, it was like they had already called. They knew who was coming to whoever was coming to get me was some big people. It was a big deal and shit. So, boom. I got my cameras and shit. I get in the fucking Benz with these people and shit. And, you know, the dude telling me how he be booking shows all through Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and all these different places, and how, you know, he like, you a friend of Fat Man Scoop, you know what I mean? You a friend of ours, you family and shit, right? So he takes me to the hotel place or wherever Fat Man Scoop was at. I immediately noticed, I'm like, well, when you go to Dubai, all of the hotels and resorts and people and shit like that, they in the airport. They got tables and kiosks and shit set up. So when you get off your plane coming into the Dubai airport, they be flagging you down like, yo, come here, let me holler at you and shit, like trying to book you into their hotel or resort and shit like that. Let me get you up out of here, man. So boom, when I got to the spot where he was at, I'm like, oh, it's levels. He's the place that he's staying is a whole nother level than where I'm at and shit. Make a long story short, he meet me outside. The video's on his channel. Just look up Gully TV, Fat Man Scoop, Dubai and shit. Boom, he come out to meet me. I got the camera on him and shit. He like, yo, come on in and shit. I'm gonna take you to my sound check. That's the video that you see of me and him where we go to like this nightclub and the fucking floor is rising up out the ground and it say Fat Man Scoop and lights and all of that shit. When he take me inside, he got these two people with him. One of them, I could tell he's a chef. He got on the fucking hat and shit. Got on a chef's hat and a white, you know, smock and shit. He like, yo, you hungry? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I eat. Yeah, I eat something and shit. He like, that's my chef. Tell him whatever you want. He'll cook it right now and shit. I'm like, God damn. This is the accommodations that these oil barons who booked him gave to him and shit. This is what's at his disposal. So I filmed the club that he's about to, rob, the stage coming out the floor with his name all over it. You can watch this video on his channel and shit. And then we go to his, he had a suite. The suite had a fucking swimming pool in the motherfucker. A pool table in it. All of this shit is on this channel and shit. So I'm like, damn, like I was just, just crazy impressed at the access and the fact that I was able to do some content in Dubai, because I didn't even know he was gonna be over there. So boom, we put that out. It was a big deal to me. It was nothing to him. It didn't do a lot of views on this channel. When we get back, I'm on the murder unit shit, and he tell me that he used to work at Hot 97, and that when that shooting happened, he was around that shit and all of that. So he's still in Dubai when I'm working on this shit. I tell him, I'm like, yo, you got to get on my murder unit joint, man. I'm like, this shit gonna be popping. He like, man, whatever you need, pimp. So he called me on WhatsApp. I filmed him with a camera. He called me on WhatsApp. The video that you see on that murder unit joint, he's on a cell phone. He called me on WhatsApp. I put the fucking camera on my desk. I put the phone on my desk and filmed the phone with a video camera, and then I cropped it so you can't really tell and shit. But that was a phone that I was pointing the camera at. We did the murder unit shit. Now, the method that I did it was real rudimentary and shit. Like, it was a really, compared to somebody who used to probably utilizing Zoom and all of these different professional apparatuses, the way I did it was, probably barbaric in his eyes and shit. So he not thinking that this shit is gonna mean nothing. We did that murder unit shit. He watched that shit. He called me back. He was like, God damn. He was like, man, I didn't know you was gonna do all that. I'm like, I'm nice. I'm nice, man. I told you I'm nice. I'm nice. I told you. I'm like, man, fuck with me, man. Like, we could do some shit. You know what I'm saying? So essentially he is becoming to Gully TV what Lord Jamar or Boosie was on Vlad TV, like a recurring personality and shit. So after I did the murder unit shit with him, he like, God damn, man. He was like, I ain't expect all that. Now people is calling him. He wasn't getting no play in the United States. He was like yesterday. He wasn't on the radio no more. That's where his passion was. He was doing some remix records every now and then. Like I said, he wasn't a part of the relevant online algorithm. He wasn't in it at all and shit. Did the murder unit joint. Now his phone is ringing and shit. Like, people, hitting him up like, yo, man, I seen you on Gully TV and shit. Like, that shit, that murder unit shit, that shit popping and shit. So he's getting the idea that the person that he dealing with, me, is a part of the relevant now as far as online and shit, right? And he wanted to be a part of the relevant now. He wanted to be a part of everything that's going on right now. So what ended up happening was we helped each other and shit. He, anybody that I need from his era, anybody that he had accessible, anybody that was in his phone, that became mine. All of his resources became mine. And what he got out of me was he gets to meet, access, attach himself to the relevant now. That would be the new rappers, Hush Kingpin, 38 Special, Benny the Butcher, P.A. Dre, the producer, everything that's going on now. You dig what I'm saying? He's a part of this. He's closer to this, to what's going on now. So, boom. We working together and shit. Every now and then, I would tell him, yo, let's do a live, or let's do something and shit. And every time we worked together, it was like an injection into his brand and into what he was doing. It was almost like fucking with me was like the fountain of youth for him, right? So we working together, and you're not seeing him on no other platforms online and shit. And he wasn't feeling that shit. He wasn't feeling that shit. He wasn't on Drink Champs. He wasn't on these platforms, man. He wasn't on the Breakfast Club. He wasn't on Talib Kweli. He wasn't on these relevant. He wasn't on these platforms that he felt should have been acknowledging him as, a hip hop legend and pioneer and shit like that. When I say pioneer, I mean that he was the first. What you see, whoever you assume DJ Khaled to be, Fat Man Scoop was the first guy doing that, yelling on records, and he didn't really rap, and he could rap. I ended up finding that out. He spit for me a few times. He was a rapper to begin with and shit. And he was the first, DJ Khaled type dude. He did a lot of shit, man. A lot of dot connect, a lot of production, a lot of remixes, just so much. Fat Man Scoop was before DJ Cool, fam. DJ Cool only had one fucking record, man. What the fuck is you talking about? Anyway, you know what's annoying about these platforms and shit? You'll sit down and prep yourself for a presentation. You'll write down notes. See, I'm reading from a tablet. You'll write down notes and do researches and shit like that. And a motherfucker come here from their couch and try to tell the story for you and shit. That shit's very fucking annoying. But anyway, yeah, he was the first that was doing that. That was, rocking the party, getting up, crowd interaction and shit, dancing, throw your hands up. If you went to college and shit, you heard a lot of Fat Man Scoop, and you heard a lot of that shit on college campuses and shit like that. But what ultimately happened with me and Fat Man Scoop was this: I handled Fat Man Scoop like I handled a big man on a basketball court. I did. I handled him with point guard precision. I did. I was often pumping him up. He became infested with the dribble spirit. What I mean by that is the fitness, finance, and fashion. That's how he lost the weight. Fucking with me and shit. The Dr. Sebi lifestyle, eating right, exercising, just everything that I could put into a big man, I put into him and shit. You dig? And our interactions online started to make him enthusiastic. Mind you, at the same time, I'm telling him, man, you're a fucking legend, man. I'm like, you can do this. I'm telling him everything that could help him establish a rebrand and shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, like he was real impressed by the shit that I did and shit. And I was telling him, man, if I can interview Cormega, you can interview Nas. You dig what I'm saying? If I can interview Capadonna, you can interview the RZA. Like, I'm telling him, you Fat Man Scoop, man, you a fucking legend, man. These niggas can't fuck with you, fam. Like, you got records with Beyonce and Faith Evans. Like, you rock a party and shit. Like, you got dimensions and shit. I'm telling him this, man, all of the time. And I'm charging him up. And ultimately, my exuberance, my ingenuity, my creative spirit, he started to absorb it. While this is going on and shit, I'm doing records. PILLMATIC 1. Nobody took that serious. This is Gully TV, just doing something, I guess. PILLMATIC 2. When the second album came out, he like, yo, man. He like, you getting busy, man. Like, you outworking me, man. I gotta get my dribble right. Man. I'm telling him, man, yo, my nigga, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? You need to put out an album and shit. So that's something that he was working on and shit, putting out an album. And the title we got, after a while, he hit me one day and he was like, yo, start asking me about Erie, Pennsylvania and shit. This was in the winter time, like probably like 3 years ago or some shit, maybe 4. Start asking me about Erie, Pennsylvania and shit. I'm like, why you know, what's your thing with Erie, pimp? He was like, I'm thinking about moving out that way. I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? And he explained to me, he like, yo, he like, my daughter go to Penn State. My daughter go to Penn State main campus. And if I become a Pennsylvania resident, then they'll cut her tuition by this much. He said, why don't you know any realtors or anything like that? I want to, probably get a house out that way for my daughter and shit, because she need an address and shit. I'm like, for real? I'm like, all right. So I hooked him up with a realtor. I don't think this nigga gonna buy no house in Erie, Pennsylvania. Next thing I know, the chick that I hooked him up with, the realtor, she posted a picture with him. Now, she don't even know that he's famous. Like, she's younger and shit. She don't even know who he is and shit like that. So when I seen the picture, I'm like, this nigga really bought a house? You know what I'm saying? So I called him and shit. I'm like, yo, man, you really bought a house from that girl, man? He was like, yeah, man, we moving out. We be out there in a couple of weeks and shit. I'm like, for real? He like, yeah, I'll call you when I get there. So, sure enough, that nigga called me one day. He was like, yo, I'm here. Where you at? He like, I'm at TGI Fridays on Peach Street. Come through. I'm like, this is crazy and shit. So I call my baby mom and I get my son, because I want them to take pictures with him. He got pictures with my baby mom and my son. I'm like, yo, let's ride up to TGI Fridays right quick. I want to introduce you to somebody. When I get there, he up in there, sitting down, eating. He might have had a little cocktail or something. He got a laptop in front of him, a MacBook and shit. He in there conducting business. I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, you really came the fuck out here, man. He like, yeah, man, my daughter, the U-Haul be here tomorrow, da-da-da-da. So he moved his family to Erie, Pennsylvania. This is why you started seeing him on Gully TV so much. You started to see him like he was just in my office. He just was here in front of this backdrop. He was in front. He was at the other spot, the other lab where the basketball jerseys was. You started to see us in the same room a lot. That's because we was living in the same city. Now, he's still boarding international flights. He's still working overseas. He's still working in New York City. He's still all over the place doing him. And I'm telling him, let me get you out of here, pal. I'm telling him, yo, I'm about to blow, man. I'm telling him, man, like, I'm about to blow. I'm about to be in this movie. I'm like, shit going bonkers for me right now. I'm about to be in this movie, man. I got to step my game up past YouTube and shit. I'm like, it ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it ain't enough, man. Like, we got to do something. This shit, like, we got to either, we got to put out some albums, some music together, or maybe we should, create a record label or, become a production team or something. But we got the Voltron and shit. So he like, bet. So we putting our heads together. We talking on the phone, talking on WhatsApp all the time and shit. Every now and then I would see him in person. Like, he was living in Erie, Pennsylvania. He's trying to be low key and shit like that. He needed a barber. I hooked him up with a barber. I plugged him up so he could be in this region and be inconspicuous. Like, he didn't want no attention or nothing like that. This is where the next level came in. So now he's around me in real life and shit. He's seeing me, he's seeing me get fresh. He's seeing me rocking that shit. He's seeing the cars I drive. He's seeing the chicks that, I attract and shit like that. And he like, yo, man, he like, I see why you be telling these niggas to suck your dick all the time. He was like, man, these niggas can't fuck with you, my nigga. These niggas can't fuck with you, man. Like, you on a whole nother level than these niggas and shit. I'm like, word? I'm like, I told you. He like, nah, for real, man. He like, you like fucking Chris Lighty or something. Like, you do a lot of shit. He like, man, you got a producer, man. You and that nigga P.A. Dre, man, y'all be getting busy. Y'all putting out records and shit. You getting radio spins on Shade 45. Like, you in movies. You got clothing brands. Like, man, you got all them fucking rappers. Look, them young niggas on the. He's speaking about YNX and, you know, all of the guys, Jamal Gasol, all of the guys that you see on PILLMATIC. Like, man, you got all them fucking rappers and shit, man. Like, if you was around in the 90s, nigga, you'd be fucking millionaire, like multi-millionaire. You just like fucking, you Chris Lighty, man. Like, you got your own Violator management shit. Like, them niggas move out when you tell them to move out. You got Shaheem, like, he like, man, he was like, man, you the nigga, man. I'm telling you, man. And at the same time, I'm telling him, you the nigga. You dig what I'm saying? You the nigga. We could do this together. We could do that together. You know what I'm saying? So he working, man. He getting in shape, man. I'm in this nigga ear, man, pumping him up like a power forward. Like, man, get your dribble right, man. Like, get that weight up off you, man. You know what I'm saying? Start spending some more bread, man, on your fresh game and shit like that, man. I'm like, yo, man, you gotta look like money at all times. And like, man, you an icon, my nigga. Like, you gotta look like money, man. Like, we would be places and he would see how chicks reacted to me and shit. And he would just get charged up. I'm like, man, that's the white t-shirt effect, man. Like, we'd be somewhere and, man, women just be going crazy and shit, man. He like, man, these bitches love you, man. I'm like, it's the gym. I'm like, it's the gym, my nigga. I'm like, it's the gym, my nigga. I'm like, for real. I'm like, man, I'm like, these niggas be running around here with 30 chains on and a Rolex and shit like that, all that crazy shit. All you need is a fucking white t-shirt, man, and a nice figure, man. You know what I mean? I'm putting him on the exact exercises the exact exercises to do to attract. We doing burpees. That was something that he struggled with. Shoulder exercises, the bench press, like everything that I was doing, I was putting on this nigga. I'm like, my nigga, I'm telling you, my nigga, like, you be indoors that I can't go in and shit. And ultimately what it became was this. I'm going back to the radio. He like, what's the radio stations out here? I'm like, WERG, and it's this other old school hip hop station called 104.3. It's called The Vibe. I'm like, now this old school station, The Vibe, it's on the rate. It's 104.3, but the DJs that you hear, they're not here. They don't live here and shit. Like, you're not gonna see these people here. Because I ended up finding this out because there was this one DJ. She's a female. She had a real sexy voice, black chick. And so I'm listening to her on the radio. I'm imagining who she looked like. I'm like, whenever I run into this bitch, I'm running down on her. I'm going to step to her. You know what I'm saying? I ended up finding out that she wasn't even here. She was in Chicago. So this radio station is like a syndicated type of thing. No, I'm telling this to Scoop. And he like, I looked up that radio station and shit. He was like, nah, they not here, but they got an office and shit. He said, I'm gonna go to the office, man, and see what the fuck's going on. I wasn't there when this happened. He ended up calling me, telling me everything from top to bottom and shit. He like, I went to the motherfucking office and shit. He said, in this, he was like, the bitch at the desk and shit, she was like looking at me all strange and shit like that. And, you know, they wasn't fucking with me. He said, I told her, is your program director here? She said, yeah, he's in the back. Tell him that Fat Man Scoop is out here. She goes in the back and gets the program director, who's a little bit younger. I guess younger than her, whatever. He come out there and it's like, yo, do you know who that is, man? Let him up in here and shit, man. That's fucking Fat Man Scoop. So he asked him, man, what the fuck is you doing out here? My daughter go to college in Pennsylvania and shit. I relocated out here. You know, I be, you know, busting moves, you know, doing this media thing when I'm in town with my man Gully TV, da-da-da-da-da. What y'all got going on? The first thing that the program director tell him is like, yo, I can offer you these 3 cities. Erie, Rochester, New York, Youngstown, Ohio, or something else. So he was on his way coming back to the radio. You dig? And when he told me that, I'm like, oh, you getting back on the radio? He was like, yeah, man, they just gave me 4 cities and shit. This shit about to pop. This shit was supposed to happen in like November and shit. I'm like, you gotta take me with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you gotta take me with you. He like, what? You already know everything that we do online. You know how the videos that y'all see me and him do, our live streams when we talking about old hip hop records and shit like that. He like, we gonna take that shit to the radio. He like, we gonna take that shit to the radio. He was like, I done already showed them. I've been showing them you the whole time. Now the whole time he's rebranding himself, trying to build himself back up. When they ask him what do he got going on, he tell them, I'm working overseas. I'm still doing DJing parties. I'm still doing records, and I'm working with my man Gully TV. Who was Gully TV? He one of the top urban media hip hop platforms on YouTube. Let us see what you talking about. So he show them our live streams. And they like, God damn, y'all got a chemistry. This shit is popping, man. We need to bring this shit to the radio. He like, that's exactly my fucking point. So we using each other to open doors for. We using each other to open doors. When I step to a motherfucker and tell them, yo, I got a new album coming out called PILLMATIC. I step to an MC for the first time. Who all on it? I get to run it down. Razzcast, Planet Asia, Herb McGruff, hosted by Fat Man Scoop. He ain't even hosted this shit yet, but he will if I ask him to. Motherfuckers hear that name, Fat Man Scoop on your shit. Hell yeah, I'm getting in it. So we using each other. We building momentum. We using each other. So that's why you was constantly seeing him on this channel. You know what I'm saying? Because we was doing this Voltron shit. We doing this Voltron shit. Now, again, he was coming back to the radio. Boom. He just did the record with Dice Peso. He sent me the picture. It's Fat Man Scoop, Jim Jones. I'll post this picture. It's Fat Man Scoop, Jim Jones, and Dice Peso. He got a record out with Dice Peso right now. He was so happy to have worked his way back into the relevant hip-hop circles from the ground up. You dig what I'm saying? From the ground up. And when he got that record with Dice in the music video, we like, pay dirt. Like, I told you you was that nigga. I'm telling him. I told you you was that nigga. I'm telling you, my nigga. I'm like, man, look at you, man. He sent me the picture of him and Jim Jones and Dice Peso. They got on all the jewelry. Scoop looking all dapper. He all shaped up, got his frames on, weight down. I'm like, man, I told you you was that nigga, man. I told you. You know what I'm saying? He like, you did tell me. Like, you did tell me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, these niggas gotta respect your dribble, man. So he's absorbing the whole dribble philosophy, man. Like, he's engaged. He down with me. He 100% down with me. He's down. You dig? And that record with Dice Peso that's out right now, that was just the beginning of him relaunching and going straight back to the top without no help. The people that he assumed to be allies, they weren't helping him. They weren't giving him no opportunities. Funkmaster Flex wasn't calling him to the radio. The Breakfast Club wasn't calling him up there. Drink Champs wasn't interviewing him. Just the people who in position, they wasn't acknowledging him or giving him any rhythm. He worked his way back into position, fucking with the dribble. And this is a gift that I have that I've applied to many people. Y'all seen me turn Mark Curry up. Y'all seen me. He got infected by the dribble. Y'all see me turn him up. I turned him up and he ran off with some other motherfuckers. But when Black Rob had a stroke, they called me to Atlanta. Yo, what's up? Black Rob had a stroke. He forgot his lines. He can't remember his raps. We need you to come and fuck with him, man. Kick it with him, hang out with him. Don't you know them, you know them songs, right? I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of Black Rob songs. we need you to come through, man. Hang with Black Rob, man. Lift his spirits and shit. The day that I go see Black Rob, I got on a red Kango and shit. I had just interviewed MC Shan. When I get around Black Rob, the people that's handling him, they're frustrated. They not smiling because Black Rob ain't smiling. Black Rob just had a stroke. He's down in the dumps. He just grouchy. Get around Black Rob. I done been around him before, but on this particular day, I'm in the room with him for like 5 minutes. He like, yo, man, that's a dope ass red Kango you got on, man. He like, I had one of them joints back in the day. I'm like, word. I'm like, you know why I got on this red Kango? He like, what? What's up? I'm like, I just interviewed MC Shan before I came over here. He like, MC Shan? I'm like, yeah, man, hell yeah. I just was with him 5-10 minutes ago. I said, you want me to call him? He was like, yeah, call him. Call MC Shan. Shan, what's up? What's up, Gully? What's going on? I'm like, Black Rob want to holler at you. Put him on the phone with him. He turned to a kid right on the spot. He was like, yo, Shan, man, what's up? Man, I love you, man. He was like, man, he kept looking at me like, God damn, Gully, man. He was like, Shan, man, you that nigga, man. He turned into a fan right on the spot. He got off the phone with MC Shan. He got off the phone with MC Shan. Now he's smiling. Roll up something. We roll up. Put the nigga video on the big screen, man. And we sitting there rapping a song together, man. Smoking blunts. Pumped him up. This is the point guard gift that I have for bringing the best out of my teammates, out of my personnel and shit. I'll take a nigga, you know what I'm saying, who might not have all of the most talent in the world and shit. I had this nigga diving on the floor for loose balls and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We coming down court, I'm feeding him the rock and the paint. You know what I mean? A nigga get a put back. I tell him, man, you the baddest motherfucker out here. These niggas can't fuck with you, nigga. You dig? Next thing you know, he crashing the boards all heavy. Crashing the boards all crazy. When he get the rebound, who you think he gonna get a rock to? Get a rock to his point guard, man. This nigga running this motherfucking offense. And that's what I do at Gully TV. I run the fucking offense. You dig? And when I heard what happened, just like magic. Yeah, they said like magic. Just like magic. That's what I do. When I heard the situation that happened with Fat Man Scoop, man, I was shocked. And my spirit was beat down briefly. And in my heart, I started to understand what happened. Fat Man Scoop died doing what he liked to do, and he died of extreme excitement. That nigga was on his way back. That nigga was on his way back to put the crown back on. And he was rocking the party, man. And nigga got his shirt off because he working out and he feeling good about himself. You dig? And the adrenaline running through his body. That's what happened to my man. Excitement, enthusiasm. He knew what the fuck was going on, man. He just make you want to scream and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel happened. He knew what talent he possessed. On top of the talent that I possess, we got this vehicle. Y'all got to remember, I'm behind the camera. Oh, I can't leave this out. A few weeks ago, I interviewed him here. And the interview was about a concert that Fat Man Scoop was hosting. The headliners was Young Jeezy, Sexy Red, and a few other artists. This was at Erie Insurance Arena. And I took him to the promoter who's from my neighborhood. He my young nigga and shit. I took him to him, Jaganin, and I introduced him. I said, yo, this is my man, Fat Man Scoop, man. Do you know who this is and shit? He wasn't all the way in tune with who Fat Man Scoop was and shit. But he trusts my judgment. He trusts what I say, and he respects my dribble. And he like, well, I seen him on Instagram and shit. I'm like, yo, the last show that you had, Jaquez was late. And the fans got to acting a fool and shit, right? I said, if an artist come late, you put this nigga on the stage. You put this nigga on the stage. You dig what I'm saying? This is who will buy you some time. This is a professional host right here. This is my man, Fat Man Scoop. You know what he say? He's the headliner now. He's the headliner now. He said, not knowing Fat Man Scoop as well. He's a lot younger than us. He's the headliner now. So what you have is the last big show that he did was in Erie, Pennsylvania, alongside Sexy Red, Young Jeezy, and Rob 46. I can't remember who the rest of those artists was, but I did my point guard thing. I put him in position. I put him where he was supposed to go. I didn't ask for no money from nobody. You know what I'm saying? I just put these guys in a situation where they could shake hands and get the best out of the situation. That's what I do. I didn't even go to the show. I was just, I was happy that he was happy. I was happy that they were happy, that my young boy got his show off, and that Fat Man was able to headline this show, Erie Summerfest, that he was able to headline it and do his thing and shit. Didn't ask for no compensation or nothing. My compensation was the credit. The credit, not between me and either one of them, just that Fat Man Scoop was able to see. You are fucking Chris Lighty. You can make a phone call and put a motherfucker in position. Yeah, you everything that I said you was, Jamil. You're fucking Chris Lighty and shit. So I was just exercising my executive prowess, and that was my man. That was my man. He remind me of a fucking he remind me of a basketball player, man, or one of the guys that played on the offensive line when I was playing football and shit. The guys on the offensive line, they don't get no glory and shit. They don't carry the ball, they don't score any touchdowns and shit like that, but they block. They the foundation of the offense. When these niggas is blocking and open up holes, when a motherfucker score a touchdown, you don't just dap up the wide receiver. You don't just tell the quarterback he's doing a good job. You go back to the line and you tell them niggas, yo, y'all holding this shit the fuck down, my nigga. And you pat them niggas on the back. You dig? They're part of the team too. They're part of the team too. And you got to point this out because everybody want their props. Everybody want to be told that they're great. You dig? What you think motherfuckers is playing for? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has this need within themselves. Everybody has this need within themselves to be acknowledged and shit. Not just kids, everybody. You know how kids say, daddy, daddy, look at this. Or, you know, you got a little girl, she jump on, she say, mommy, mommy, look at this. Everybody, even as adults, still got that in them. People want to be acknowledged for doing their thing and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I developed playing quarterback, something I developed playing point guard. I'm just an athlete, and I bring those principles to my business endeavors and shit. You dig? So, that was my man. That was one of my teammates. That was my power forward and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's a part of the team. There's people who are part of the team and shit. Shaheem is a part of the team. P.A. Dre is a part of the team. Roscoe P. Cochain, he's a part of the team. Sam Scar, he's a part of the team. YNX, Akil, there's certain people that are a part of the team and shit. You dig? And teamwork make the dream work. And that's what me and Scoop had going on and shit. I don't know what's up with his family because I never seen his daughter in person. I know she live out here. You know what I'm saying? I never Me and him always was just working in the gym, you know what I'm saying, just striving for perfection and shit. So yeah, that's my truth I wanted to share with y'all about Fat Man Scoop. Fat Man Scoop felt underappreciated and underacknowledged by the hip hop community. And I was somebody who acknowledged him, and I have attraction powers, magnetism and shit. That's something that's possessed by gods and shit. You dig? And he uprooted everything he was doing in New York, where he's living in New Jersey, to be closer to his power source, to be closer to the point guard and shit. And that's how he ended up being on Gully TV so much. When you look around today, yesterday, you see a lot of people posting pictures, and that was my man. And it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't. It wasn't. There were certain people, like I would ask him, yo, I need an interview with this person. He would reach out and not get any response. Or I want to work with this person, and he would reach out and not get any response. You dig what I'm saying? And we understood together. They showing their ass to you, they showing their ass to me. But now that he's deceased, you got niggas posting pictures. You know what I'm saying? That was my man, and you know, the GOAT this, you're a true icon, and y'all could have been saying all of that shit when he was living. You dig? And y'all didn't acknowledge the man because he's not on. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody got a podcast. But you didn't see Fat Man Scoop on it. You only seen him on Gully TV and shit. So that tell you what they thought about him and shit. You know what I'm saying? That tell you exactly what they thought about him. And I don't know. Like I said, he told me himself. He said, I understand why you be telling these niggas to eat a dick. You know what I'm saying? You on a whole nother level. These niggas got nothing on you. You know what I mean? And I would tell them they ain't got nothing on you either and shit. So, you know what I mean? A alike, B alike, C alike. That's what we had going on. I hope y'all enjoy. I think I got like 15 videos with Fat Man Scoop in America and in Dubai. Hope y'all enjoy the content. That's what we have. As far as him in his twilight years, let's say the twilight of his career, you got Gully TV and shit. Same with Black Rob. The last of Black Rob, it exists on this channel. It exists on this channel. I ain't no fickle nigga. I ain't no phony nigga. I ain't no dick rider or nothing like that. You ain't got to be popping to get down with me and shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be popping to get down with me. All you got to do is be loyal and ready to work. You know what I'm saying? I run this offense. And we gonna get some buckets. All you gotta do is respect the dribble. You know what I mean? So this is this went fairly well. It took me some time to get myself together. Tragedy makes me tired and shit. There's been a lot of death around me recently. It just be like it beat down on your spirit. Not to mention, I rode my bike 40 miles on a bike yesterday and shit. So it took me a little bit of time to get with y'all and shit, but I know everybody wanted to hear from me, and I appreciate everybody that reached out to me on Instagram with your condolences and all of that. And everything y'all said was the truth. That was my man and shit. That was my man. That was one of my teammates. He will be missed. And we had more work to do, man. We had a show coming out called The Scoop. You know what I mean? A radio show called The Scoop. And that was going to be, we was going to pay you niggas back. Everybody that neglected him, everybody that wasn't acknowledging him, we was going to have this hot-ass radio show, syndicated. It was in works, called The Scoop. And y'all wasn't going to get no invites. You know why? Because I was going to make sure. I was the creative director. Nah, we not interviewing him. Fuck him. Suck a dick. You know what I'm saying? The philosophy don't change, man. Nigga give you their ass to kiss, you tell them to eat a dick. Straight like that. So, yeah, when y'all have some time, just go through Gully TV, man. Look at all them videos. Mainly the one in Dubai, man. That showed that he was an A-list international celebrity. He had the fucking stage to rise up out the ground with his name on it and lights and shit. This is a whole nother level of production and acknowledgement and shit. Like I said, he was over there with some oil barons and shit like that. He said you should still do it and call it the scoop. He said he was a cool brother, down to earth. I loved the live that you and him did where he broke down the Teddy Pendergrass song, Come On and Go With Me. He was a smooth nigga, man. Always down to work. Whenever I didn't have an idea, he had one. And he was on that, man. He was on that. And I was on it too. Again, we helped each other. And I'm glad y'all was able to enjoy me and his interactions together. This is a one of one. You can't go to no other channel and get no Fat Man Scoop content because wasn't nobody black interviewing him. He wasn't on no black platforms and shit. I think 139 The Beat. He might was on there and shit. Shout out to them, my man Kareem. But everybody else, for the most part, niggas be on some dick riding shit, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And they forget about giving a nigga his roses while he living. All of the shit that y'all saying online, the paragraphs y'all writing, them old ass pictures y'all posting. Fat Man Scoop can't see that. He can't hear it. He don't even know you felt like that. You know why? Because when he was living, you didn't acknowledge him. So there you go. That's my truth on the matter. He will be missed. Probably gonna get a Fat Man tattoo somewhere. You know what I mean? Immortalize my guy and shit. But yeah, he was a great, great, great ally and help to my platform. And he will be missed. And y'all gonna, I'm gonna keep his name and legacy alive on this channel. That's my time. I'm still, it took a lot of energy out of me and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a vibe and shit. I move off energies and frequencies and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I'm just different. I'm cut different and shit. Think different, move different and shit. So that's why I'm always at conflict with a lot of, when y'all see me in conflict with niggas, what it really is it's the clash of, truth and false. You know what I'm saying? Righteous and unrighteous, clean and unclean and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's why I'm always in conflict with these niggas and shit, because I'm different. Anyway, find me on Instagram at IamGullyTV_. Subscribe to my channel, The Real Gully TV, hip hop, sports, and fashion. Bear witness to the greatest when you tune into this channel and shit. He says, you want to be from Harlem. I ain't seen a Harlem nigga live as me yet. I don't give a fuck who hear it. You know what I'm saying? My furs dropped to my ankles. I told you, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I ain't encountered nobody, man, who got this Diddy bop. This shit this ain't nothing that I just stumbled upon. My daddy and mama rock furs and shit like that. You dig? So, yeah, man, suck a dick. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? For real and shit. So, yeah, whoever don't like it, suck a dick again and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna continue to dominate. You know what I mean? I don't know why y'all think live niggas is isolated to a specific geographical location and shit, man. Like, my Instagram is public, man. You see the clothes I wear. You see my Diddy bop, man. I got pictures dating back to when I was a teen and shit, man. I came here fresh to death. You know what I mean? Jewels been trucked. You know what I mean? Furs been exotic, all that shit, man. Like, don't nobody be on here rocking those boxes to the floor but me and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And my man said, you got an Erie pop. You can read about him in this book and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can read about how I used to wake up in the morning and Rick James would be sitting on the couch with my pops and shit in the crib and shit. So, like I said, man, I'm an isolated incident. You know what I mean? I'm an isolated incident. Straight like that. Anyway, I got to get up off of here, man. My man said, El Libro. If that's what you want to call it, man. I call it the dribble and shit. You know what I'm saying? I came here with my own lingo, my own flavor, all of that shit. Ain't nobody like me here and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm up out of here, man. Y'all have a wonderful evening. You know what I mean? Those who don't like it, eat a dick. Peace.